After my younger sister was born, our family suddenly struck it rich. My parents' careers soared, and my brother got his wish to be admitted to Peking University. Yet I remained sickly, weak, and sallow. Everyone in the family believed my sister was the lucky charm, and I was the jinx. I was sent off to my poor aunt and left the family. But after that, my parents went bankrupt. My brother dropped out of university, and the family fell into dire straits. Meanwhile, my aunt's household flourished and became millionaires. It turned out that I was the lucky charm all along, and my sister was the jinx. The day my sister was born, I had just turned 6. Both parents were at the hospital. My brother tossed me a bun and called it a birthday cake. I stuck a toothpick into the bun, and, imitating people on television, clasped my hands together to make a wish. I wish Mum and Dad would have lots of money, that my brother gets into Peking University, and that everyone will be happy. I recited the words silently in my heart, treating it with great solemnity. Though I didn't yet have much concept of money, my parents often argued about it day and night. When they scolded me, they'd say it was all my fault for constantly falling ill and using up all the money. So I wished they would be rich, so they wouldn't argue anymore. As for my brother, he was in his final year of high school, and often anxious, afraid he wouldn't get into a good university. Sometimes when I brought him water, he'd scold me for disturbing him, saying that if he didn't get into Peking University, he'd beat me to death. I didn't know what Peking University was, but my brother liked it, so I wished he would get in. Are you trying to kill me with laughter? What kind of stupid wish is that over a bun? My brother looked at the bun with the toothpick in it and laughed heartily. If you say your wish out loud, it won't come true. I repeated what I'd heard on television. He snorted dismissively. You must have wished for something nice to eat. I know you too well. Too bad you have a sister now. From now on you'll only get leftovers. My face tightened. At such a young age I didn't yet know how to hide my feelings, and the fear inside me was instantly exposed. Ever since Mum became pregnant, I'd been fearful. Because she kept saying, we're having another one, a good one this time. No more useless girls like you. Just look at you. So short and skinny, dark and ugly. It makes me sick just looking at you. She said this for 10 months, and then my sister was born. Scared, aren't you? Hurry up and polish my shoes for me. If you don't clean them properly, I won't want you either. My brother laughed maliciously. He always enjoyed taunting me like this. Seeing me afraid amused him. 3 days after polishing my brother's shoes, my parents returned. Mum was bundled up tightly. She was still in her postnatal confinement period. Dad was carrying a baby, also wrapped up snugly. Following behind them was a plainly dressed woman. That was my aunt, whom I called Auntie Cooey. Auntie Cooey was the only relative who treated me well. She had always been kind-hearted, and this time she had voluntarily gone to the hospital to look after my mother and accompany her through childbirth. I ran over to greet them, calling out to Mum, Dad, and Auntie Cooey, then helped carry things inside. When Mum saw me, her face darkened. She turned her head away and snapped, "Get back to your room. I don't want to see your face. How can you be so ugly? Look at your sister, so fair and tender, so lovely. Good heavens." I stood where I was, not knowing what to do. Auntie Cooey forced a smile and spoke up. Yin will blossom when she grows up. She's still young. 6 years old and still young. Ever since she was little, it's been sickness after sickness. I'm practically worn out by her. I have no patience left now. Piss off. Mum was shouting at me. I hung my head and went back to my room. My brother happened to come out. Without even glancing at me, he rushed excitedly to see our sister. After one look, he was full of praise. Wow, she's so adorable. Such big eyes and a tiny mouth. This is the real family genes. Kiao Kiao really is cute. You can tell even at this age. And she's especially lively. Look at her eyes darting around, as if she already understands everything. Dad couldn't contain his delight. Mum's face also broke into a smile. Only Auntie Cooey watched me with a troubled and pained expression. I hid in my room and curled up at the foot of the bed, not moving. If I behaved, maybe my parents would still give me leftovers to eat. The day after my sister arrived home, my parents argued again. The reason was that Mum wanted to eat cherries, but Dad said they were too expensive. With 3 children to raise now, they had to spend carefully. Mum flew into a rage, saying she couldn't even have a single cherry while in confinement. My sister started wailing in fright, and my parents stopped arguing to comfort her quickly. Kiao Kiao, be good. Mummy and Daddy aren't arguing. Don't be scared. Dad had never been so gentle before. After calming Kiao Kiao down, Dad sighed and said, Darling, we mustn't argue anymore. It frightens Kiao Kiao. The fortune teller said Kiao Kiao is the lucky star of our family. She will bring us good fortune. Dad strongly believed in fate. Mum didn't. She used to scold Dad for being brainless enough to believe in such things. But now, she nodded repeatedly. Kiao Kiao is a lucky star. Look how adorable she is. She must be a lucky star. Not like Yin, that jinx. Standing at the doorway with a glass of water, I listened and lowered my head once again. Perhaps Kiao Kiao really was a lucky star. Dad's business suddenly took a turn for the better. He had been running his own business for 2 years, constantly losing money but unwilling to give up. He had borrowed from every relative, friend, and bank. Whenever I fell ill and needed money, he would roar at me about his debts, as if I could understand. Now, finally, things were looking up. Darling, this is fantastic. I've landed a huge order. Just you wait, my studio is really going to take off. That night Dad was euphoric. My brother was also infected by the excitement. He put down his books to celebrate and kissed Kiao Kiao on the cheek. Our little lucky star. I lifted my 6-year-old, sallow face and offered an ingratiating smile. Sister really is a lucky star. Actually, I didn't fully understand what a lucky star meant, but subconsciously I felt I ought to smile. Disgusting. Get lost. Dad's business began to advance by leaps and bounds. Perhaps a lucky star was shining over his head, and there was no stopping him. In just 3 months, he was already wearing a suit and tie, running all over the city attending banquets. Mum had long finished her confinement period. She had originally thought of staying home full-time to look after my sister and brother, but unable to bear the monotony, she joined Dad in running the business. So Auntie Kui came back. Mum paid her 3,000 a month to look after the 3 of us children's daily needs. For the first time, I felt a trace of maternal affection. Auntie Kui treated us all equally. She liked my brother, liked my sister, and liked me too. During the day, while she looked after us at our house, she would often tell me stories. One story I remembered deeply. It was the story of the ugly duckling and the swan. The ugly duckling was despised from the start, but in the end it spread its wings and flew, because it was actually a swan. At night, Auntie Kui returned to her own home, and our house returned to its usual state. Once again I was alone, curled up at the foot of the bed, writing in my diary and flipping through books, while my parents and brother talked excitedly about the future in the living room, affectionately holding Kiao Kiao. Kiao Kiao really is a lucky star. My grades have improved a lot. I'm already in the top 10 of my year. I feel like I have a chance to aim for Peking University. My brother brought up Peking University again. My parents were overjoyed, and the room filled with laughter and cheer. On the day my brother was admitted to Peking University, Dad's company was officially established, no longer just a small studio. In just over half a year he had become a boss, and my mother the boss's wife. Just like that, our family became wealthy. Even my brother's university celebration banquet was held in a grand hotel. That day, the guests flooded in. More than 30 tables were filled. I had never seen such a spectacle before. I was both nervous and curious. And because my parents were happy today, they didn't lock me in my room to keep me out of sight. Of course, the main reason might have been that I needed to carry Kiao Kiao on my back. My parents and brother were very busy. Auntie Kui was dealing with something in the kitchen, so I carried Kiao Kiao on my back, supporting her bottom with both hands, sitting quietly and obediently. I was quite skilled at it. I had carried Kiao Kiao many times at home already. Occasionally I would glance back at Kiao Kiao. Her lively, beautiful big eyes kept darting around. Her eyelashes long and delicate. Her face fair and rosy, so adorable. Passing guests would invariably stop to look at Kiao Kiao and praise her for being so pretty. I would puff out my chest with pride. Yes, my sister really is beautiful. Then a guest accidentally bumped into a stool and I fell, landing on my side. I hurriedly protected my sister's head, but she started wailing, drawing the attention of the entire hall. My parents rushed over in a few quick strides, their faces full of anxiety. Useless thing, can't you even look after a child properly? My mother slapped me across the face and quickly took Kiao Kiao from me. My father promptly kicked me, then tenderly felt Kiao Kiao's forehead. I was shocked and panicked, tears also beginning to fall. Cry, 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 just get lost, embarrassing us. My mother, flustered and angry, was about to hit me again. In my confusion, Auntie Kui ran over and picked me up, forcing a smile and smoothing things over. Huh. The little one wasn't sitting steadily. It's fine. Everyone, please take your seats. Today we drink until we drop. The guests sat down, and Auntie Kui carried me to the kitchen. It turned out Auntie Kui had worked here before. She knew the kitchen staff, so she had come to hurry them along with the dishes. I sat on a small stool in the kitchen. In front of me were rows of food trolleys laden with delicious dishes. I was drooling, so Auntie Kui found a roast squab for me to eat. I buried my head in eating, completely unaware that blood was trickling from the corner of my mouth, from where Mum had struck me. Halfway through eating, I looked up and noticed Auntie Kui was crying. I asked her why she was crying. She crouched down and hugged me. Yin, poor child. What was so pitiful? After the banquet ended, my parents and brother had already disappeared. Auntie Kui couldn't find them and had to take me home alone. When we knocked on the door, my mother's voice came from inside. Don't bring her back. It's bad luck just looking at her. I'm really afraid her bad luck will rub off on Kiao Kiao. If you like her so much, take her with you. Auntie Kui was embarrassed. Earlier I took Yin to the kitchen to help out. They were short-handed. Ah, Kui, don't you have no children? She's yours now. Take her away. Dad called out from behind the door. My brother opened the door a crack and glanced at me expressionlessly. We're moving to a big flat soon. This place is going to be sold. Find somewhere to live yourself. It's quite nice staying with Auntie Kui. I didn't say anything, only suddenly understood many things. Understood what pitiful meant. So my tears streamed down. Auntie Kui actually grew unusually angry. She asked tremulously, "Are you people even human? Don't you want your own child? Just because you've got money now you think you're noble? Who washed all your clothes and shoes?" I did. When the family was poor, Mum wouldn't allow the washing machine to be used. I washed everything by hand. In winter, the cold would strip a layer of skin from my hands. Ju Wen-Q, what are you shouting about? Ju Yinyan is nothing but a jinx, a curse. I just don't want her anymore, so what? My mother rushed out, pointing at Auntie Kui's face and shouting. Auntie Kui immediately lost her nerve, her lips trembling, her face flushed. Dad also came out, grunting unhappily. Ah, Kui, if you want this jinx, take her. Look at her like a dead monkey. It's bad luck just looking at her. When I lost my job back then, it was all her fault. She answered my boss's call and God knows what she said that pissed him off. Dad glared at me hatefully. I shook my head vigorously. I only said, "Hello, Uncle," and then he hung up. Shut up. You're just a bringer of misfortune. If it weren't for your sister being born, who knows how long our family would have remained unlucky. Dad turned to look at Kiao Kiao in the cradle in the living room, and his expression instantly softened. Your sister really is a lucky star. Look how beautiful, how adorable she is. Kiao Kiao sat in the cradle, watching us with wide eyes, innocent and delicate. Auntie Kui took me away. She carried me on her back, step by step toward the old city district, a distance of 8 kilometers. Lying on her back, I felt the summer evening breeze and before I knew it, fell asleep. When I woke, Auntie Kui's husband had returned from his night shift. Auntie Kui brought me out and explained with an awkward smile. Husband, Yin will live with us from now on, all right? My uncle froze, his weary frame stooping even further. He asked why. Auntie Kui explained. Uncle's face darkened. Several times he seemed about to shout but held back. Finally, he heaved a deep sigh and pinched my cheek with his grimy hand. Ah, forget it. You're unlucky, and I'm even more unlucky. We're both unlucky sorts. Let her stay. So I stayed. Uncle was a rough but responsible man. Once he agreed to let me stay, he immediately got busy. First, he fixed up the small storeroom, Then he scavenged a wooden bed, and finally hung up a mosquito net. "You'll live here. We don't have much money. You'll have to make do. We'll raise you poor, all right?" Uncle wiped sweat off his brow and yawned. Like my parents, he often talked about money. So I clasped my hands together and made a wish. "Uncle, I wish you lots and lots of money." Uncle roared with laughter and called out to Auntie Kiwi at the door. "See, this child knows how to talk. Tonight I'll buy a lottery ticket and win 5 million. Buying lottery tickets again. Wasting money like that." Auntie Kiwi wasn't pleased. Uncle shrugged and didn't say more. That evening, after getting up and having a meal, Uncle went to work his night shift. But barely half an hour after leaving, he called home. Auntie Kiwi thought something had happened and quickly asked what was wrong. "Honey, guess what?" "Oh my God, I won. I won." Uncle was ecstatic. "Won what?" "A scratch card. I casually bought one for 2 yuan and actually won 50,000. The jackpot. Damn. Lots and lots of money. Indeed." Uncle had won the scratch card jackpot 50,000 yuan. Auntie Kiwi was stunned. Over the phone she asked several times, unable to believe it. "It's really 50,000. Wait, I'm coming home right now." Uncle didn't go to work his night shift. He probably couldn't focus anyway. Auntie Kiwi grinned from ear to ear, pacing a bit, sitting a bit, then hugging and kissing me. "Yin Yan, you really are our lucky star." Was I a lucky star? Kiao Kiao was the lucky star. A long time later, Uncle finally returned. The moment Auntie Kiwi opened the door, she asked, "What took so long? Is it really 50,000? "Yes, yes." I went to buy a fan for Yin Yan. And I bought KFC Look, a family bucket. Uncle held a fan in one hand and KFC in the other, his face full of simple, honest joy. Auntie Kiwi was completely reassured. She took the fan and sniffed the KFC. "So this is KFC. Smells good." I could smell it too, and I knew about KFC. My brother often bought it, but he mostly ate it in his study alone. Occasionally, if there were leftover fries or chicken nuggets, he'd throw them to me to finish. "Uncle, does KFC have chicken wings?" I walked over, swallowing my saliva. Uncle laughed heartily and scooped me up. "Yes, several. Bought especially for you. Good Yin Yin, our lucky star." I smiled. I liked the word lucky star. That evening the little room was filled with non-stop laughter. I blew on the fan, ate chicken wings, and listened to Uncle and Auntie Kiwi talk about the future. "With this 50,000, I can buy a used minivan and deliver packages. We'll save the rest. If you work hard delivering packages, you can make 7,000 or 8,000 a month. Our good days are coming." Uncle waved his rough, large hands as if sketching a blueprint. Auntie Kiwi giggled, nodding all the while. Uncle bought a minivan. He started delivering packages. Every morning, Auntie Kiwi and I would see him off at the door. Each time, I would clasp my hands together and wish. I wish Uncle lots and lots of money. Perhaps heaven heard my wish. Uncle's delivery work went very smoothly. The customers he met were friendly too. And a month later, he came across a great opportunity. The owner of a delivery station in the south of the city is moving to the provincial capital. Said he sees how diligent and hardworking I am, and is willing to transfer the station to me. Just 100,000 yuan. And I could earn it back in 6 months. That evening Uncle told us about this opportunity. Isn't that a scam? I heard the South City station easily makes 20 or 30,000 a month. Why would he transfer it to you? Auntie Kiwi didn't believe it. Uncle scratched his head and chuckled. Half a month ago, that station caught fire, remember? The owner happened to be there. I pulled him out. So he wants to repay me. A fire? Auntie Kiwi was startled. Why didn't you tell me? Nothing worth mentioning. Just did what anyone would. Uncle dismissed it, making Auntie Kiwi so angry she hit him for being so reckless. After the commotion, they returned to the topic. 100,000 to take over a station that could earn 200,000 or 300,000 a year. Auntie Kiwi was tempted too. She paced, thinking, saying the family hadn't saved much, only the 20,000 left from the scratch card winnings. They were still short 80,000. Uncle took a swig of beer and then hesitantly said, Your brother's family is rich now, right? Could we borrow 80,000 from them? Auntie Kui's brother was my father. Don't bring that up. Auntie Kui cut him off, pulling Uncle into the room and telling me to eat by myself and have as much as I wanted. I didn't yet understand what they were avoiding. Perhaps they didn't want to mention my dad. I didn't mind either, happily eating away. Back at my old home, I had eaten every meal cautiously. Never this relaxed before. The next day, Uncle didn't go deliver packages. Instead, he took Auntie Kui and me to my parents' house. Yunyan, we need to talk to your parents about something. You wait for us in the van. Auntie Kui told me to wait alone in the minivan. She and Uncle went upstairs. I leaned against the car window, looking up at my former home. I watched for a long time. Auntie Kui and Uncle didn't come down, but suddenly I heard a loud "Get out." The voice was sharp, piercing through the stairwell, making me flinch. It was my mother's voice. My heart tightened. I shrunk into the van, but worried about Auntie Kui and Uncle. Summoning courage from somewhere, I opened the door and ran out. I ran upstairs to find them. When I reached the corner near my old flat, I heard Auntie Kui sobbing. We're only borrowing 80,000. If you won't lend it, fine. But do you have to shout like this? Borrow? You're just using the fact that you're raising our daughter to ask for money. Let me tell you, Ju Wen Kui, whether Ju Yinyan lives or dies has nothing to do with me. Don't use her to get money. My mother cursed loudly. My father spoke up too. Kui, you never asked to borrow money from us before. Now that you're raising Yinyan, you think you've earned some credit? Remember, you took Yinyan yourself. We didn't force you. Pressed against the wall, tears started falling again. Finally, Uncle said hoarsely, "Then we won't borrow. Let's go." He led Auntie Kui away. After a few steps, they saw me. Auntie Kui wiped her tears and picked me up. "Yinyan, why did you come?" "So that's it, Ju Wenkyu. You want to send this jinx back, don't you?" "No chance. I'm telling you, we don't want her. Throw her out on the street." My mother cursed, then slammed the door shut with a loud bang. Uncle carried me downstairs on his back. Auntie Kui sobbed quietly behind us. Back in the van, the atmosphere was heavy. Uncle's back was hunched again. He must be worried. Where to find 80,000 yuan? Maybe I wasn't a lucky star after all. Otherwise, why was Uncle so pitiful? Hey, what if we buy another scratch card? Maybe we'll win again. Suddenly Uncle slapped his knee, turned around and smiled at us. His smile was weathered, like cracks in ancient earth, feigning strength. Auntie Kui sighed. "Let's go home. We don't need the station. Delivering packages still brings in money." Why go home? Let's buy a scratch card first. We have our lucky star. Uncle pinched my little cheek and stepped on the gas. We soon reached a lottery shop. Uncle carried me with one arm and held Auntie Kui's hand with the other as we went in. I felt he hadn't come to buy a lottery ticket. It was more like he brought us here to play. Watch this one ticket, one miracle. Uncle rubbed his hands together. Scratched a ticket, but didn't win. He gave a dry laugh. Auntie Kui rolled her eyes. All right then, another 2 yuan gone. Could have bought Yin Yan an ice cream. Uncle scratched his head and urged Auntie Kui to try one too. Auntie Kui refused, but Uncle kept insisting, so she finally scratched one. Still no win. Now, 4 yuan was gone. Okay dear, no more playing, let's go home and eat. Auntie Kui wasn't angry. Instead, she comforted Uncle. I thought they were really good together. Their way of being with each other was completely different from my parents. Uncle nodded and led us home. At the door, he smacked his forehead. Yinyan hasn't tried yet. Let Yinyan have a go. Auntie Kui hit him lightly and asked if I wanted to try. I nodded. I wanted to play. We turned back. The shop owner had been watching us. Seeing us return, he pulled out a colorful scratch card. You folks don't have it easy, do you? Try this one, a new type. Chance to win 100,000. The owner pointed at the stack of colorful tickets. 100,000? What type is this? 5 blessings descend. Didn't have it before. The owner replied with a cigarette dangling from his mouth. Auntie Kui told me to pick one to scratch. I stood on tiptoe and pulled one out. This one. Auntie Kui scratched it open for me. She had been smiling, but suddenly her face stiffened, utterly shocked. What's wrong? Uncle leaned in to look. With this type, you win if you match any number in the boxes, right? Let's see. 38. The number was 38. The owner craned his neck to look. Find the box with 38 and see the corresponding prize. Holy shit! His mouth fell open, and the cigarette dropped into his lap. The prize corresponding to 38 was 100,000 yuan. All three adults were stunned. The owner's trousers got a hole burned by the cigarette butt. Uncle held the scratch card, examining it over and over. Auntie Kui covered her mouth, tears welling up. I knew we had money again. 100,000. Uncle could take over that delivery station. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yin Yan, my lucky star. Uncle finally snapped out of it, scooping me up and kissing me repeatedly. His stubble tickled, making me giggle. Auntie Kui couldn't hold back anymore. Tears of joy streamed down. The owner was still tugging at his trousers. We scratched a few more but didn't win anything else. Uncle stopped then, overjoyed as he exchanged the ticket for 100,000 yuan. Now, the South City delivery station was ours. Uncle said it was one of the best stations in the south of the city, earning at least 200,000 a year, maybe 300,000 if times were good. I didn't really understand, but as long as he and Auntie Kui were happy, it was fine. The South City station became our family's lucky star. After Uncle took over, it flourished. The volume of incoming and outgoing packages grew day by day, earning over 40,000 yuan every month. By late autumn, Uncle had taken over another station, also in the South City. Its volume was slightly lower, but annual earnings could still exceed 300,000. In early winter, we moved to a larger flat, leaving behind the cramped, old, small rental. This flat had a proper bathroom, air conditioning, and a balcony. If it weren't for Yin Yan, I wouldn't spend so much on rent. We rough folk aren't used to living so well. Uncle was happy moving into the new place too, lifting me onto his shoulders while cooking. Then Auntie Kui came in with her phone, hesitating before speaking. My brother's daughter, Kiao Kiao, is turning 1. They're having a banquet at a hotel tomorrow. Should we go? Kiao Kiao was 1 already. Time flew. So I was 7 now. Uncle pursed his lips. Go for what? To get yelled at again? No. It's just, Yin Yan's household registration is still with my brother's family. For school and everything, we'll need my brother's help. If we don't go. Auntie Kui worried I wouldn't be able to attend school. Uncle sighed helplessly. Fine. They'd go. The next day we went to the hotel. The same hotel where my brother's university celebration had been held. Again, it was packed with guests. Relatives from far and wide had come, because my parents' family was rich now. From what Auntie Kui said, they probably had several million in assets. And my brother was studying at Peking University, bringing honor to the ancestors, making countless relatives envious. I followed Uncle and Auntie Kui into the hotel. I was 7, a bit taller, a bit fairer, but I was just as nervous and uneasy as when I was 6. When Q, you came too. Oh my, you've put on weight. Must be earning well. A relative came over to greet them. This surprised me, because no relative had ever greeted Auntie Kui before. No, same as always. Auntie Kui was modest. Oh, come on. Everyone knows you run 2 delivery stations now. 1 million a year, right? Really rolling in it. The relative laughed, then glanced at me and praised. Yin Yan has grown so pretty. I almost didn't recognize you. I couldn't believe someone was complimenting me. Surprised and shy, I quickly hid behind Uncle. Uncle chuckled heartily, his gaze fixed ahead. My parents were coming over. My parents walked over. My father was in a suit and tie. My mother dressed in elegant clothes, holding Kiao Kiao in her arms. Kiao Kiao watched us with wide eyes, her face fair and rosy, like a princess from a fairy tale. My brother didn't appear. Auntie Kui took the initiative to greet them. Brother, sister-in-law. Hello. Why bring her along? Isn't it bad luck? My mother pointed at me, extremely displeased. My father didn't scold me, but remained silent, as if I were a stranger. Uncle lost his temper. Whose bad luck? Some people are the unlucky ones themselves, calling others unlucky. Such foul mouths. Uncle vented the anger he'd been holding back for a long time. All the nearby relatives and friends fell silent. My mother was stunned, probably not expecting Uncle to be so agitated and dare to talk back. Her face flushed red and she exploded. Jiang Jun, you dare curse me? You think just because you've made a bit of money delivering packages, your tail's up in the sky? Damn bastard. Can't even have a son. My son goes to Peking University, and my Kiao Kiao will go to Peking University too. My mother's words were vicious, hitting Uncle right where it hurt. Uncle and Auntie Kiwi had never had children, let alone a child at Peking University. You shameless bitch. What are you? Uncle rolled up his sleeves, his face turning scarlet. The banquet descended into chaos. Many children started crying in fright. Kiao Kiao cried too and was taken away by a relative. I was carried outside by Auntie Kui, whose eyes were red and swollen. I watched my mother, acting like a shrew, and my father shoving Uncle, and suddenly understood many more things. I didn't cry. Instead, I silently made a wish in my heart. I don't want my parents to have money anymore. I don't want my brother to go to Peking University. I want Uncle and Auntie Kui to have lots and lots of money. I want Uncle and Auntie Kui to have their own child. Kiao Kiao's first month celebration banquet turned into a complete mess. Auntie Kui and I stood at the entrance, watching everything. My father and Uncle shoved each other and started fighting. Many relatives tried but couldn't stop them. My mother stood with one hand on her hip, the other pointing at Auntie Kui by the door. Ju Wen Kui, you're something else. Bringing your husband to cause trouble, huh? You're a jinx too, just like that little jinx. Drop dead. Auntie Kui held me, lips pressed together, saying nothing. As the situation grew chaotic, my father's phone suddenly rang. He was too busy to answer, so my mother shouted, Jiang Jun, try laying another hand on him. If my husband misses a business deal because of you, I'll kill you. The call was likely from a business partner, very important. Uncle was panting heavily, forcibly pulled apart by 3 relatives. My father wiped blood from his mouth, spat viciously, then pulled out his phone. It's my son calling. My son from Peking University. Oh, my son from Peking University. My father showed the phone to Uncle, then deliberately answered on speakerphone. Son, what's up? Your mum and I are at Kiao Kiao's banquet. When are you coming home for holiday? My father asked loudly, but my brother's voice didn't come through. Instead, a middle-aged man's voice spoke. Is this the parent of Zhu Xuanfeng? This is the Chaoyang District Police Station in Beijing. My father frowned. Police station? What's wrong? I'm Zhu Xuanfeng's father. Everyone around quieted down, listening curiously. Zhu Xuanfeng was caught taking photos up a girl's skirt in the Peking University cafeteria just now. We request the parents to come to the station. What? My father's voice trembled violently, his face filled with disbelief. The whole hall erupted in uproar. My mother lost all composure, snatching the phone and cursing. Scam call, is it? Fuck you. Your whole family dropped dead. What did you say? Watch your language. This is the Chaoyang District Police Station in Beijing. The officer was angry. My mother was about to curse more, but my father quickly grabbed the phone back, turned off speakerphone, and walked away swiftly while continuing the call. Kiao Kiao's first month banquet ended just like that. Both my parents left, so the relatives had to disperse too. But everyone was talking, naturally, about my brother taking photos up a girl's skirt. On the way home, I asked Auntie Kui, what happened to my brother? Auntie Kui was very awkward and shook her head without speaking. Uncle wanted to laugh but also shook his head. Zhu Xuanfeng was spoiled rotten. Since he was little, he did whatever he wanted as long as his grades were good. Now it's come back to bite him, huh? Yes, my brother could do anything as long as he got good grades. 2 days later, from what Uncle said, my brother was expelled from Peking University and also faced 10 days of detention. My parents couldn't hold their heads up now. They had even left the family group chat. Before, they were often the ones posting in it. Auntie Kui didn't want to talk about this. she chided Uncle. Don't bother with other people's affairs. Let's just live our own lives well. All right. Uncle was full of drive. His business began to advance by leaps and bounds. Strangely enough, the 2 stations Uncle took over became more and more profitable. The volume of packages was substantial every day, while other stations seemed sluggish. By the following summer, when I was 7.5, Uncle took the plunge and acquired 2 more stations. Auntie Kui was a bit worried. Now we have 4 stations. We haven't been in this business long. We shouldn't expand too quickly. Whether a person makes money or not depends on those 2 or 3 years. Right now, I'm like an arrow on the bowstring, I have to release it. With Union as our lucky star, we won't lose. Uncle seemed simple, but he had big ambitions. And he gambled right. All 4 stations were profitable, each earning over 400,000. That meant annual earnings of at least 1.6 million. I feel like I'm dreaming. How about you? Auntie Kui asked Uncle after calculating the earnings. I feel like I'm dreaming too. How about you? Uncle nodded and looked at me. I was digging through a KFC family bucket. To be honest, the breast meat at the very bottom really wasn't tasty. I think the spicy chicken wings are better. The family became well off. I became prettier. It seemed every few months I blossomed a little more. Auntie Kui specially bought me a full-length mirror. Every day she helped me dress and comb my hair, praising how I was getting prettier and prettier. I didn't have a strong concept of pretty. I just felt I was taller, fairer and healthier. That must be pretty. A while ago, Uncle bought a BMW and started running around on business, though I wasn't sure what exactly. Auntie Kui no longer needed to take odd jobs. She stayed home with me and kept the house spotlessly clean. In the evenings, she and Uncle would whisper, thinking I was asleep, but I was eavesdropping. I heard my brother hasn't been doing well lately. His company's having trouble. Seems Ju Feng's incident hit him hard. They were talking about my parents. That industry was always going to fade fast. You only make money for a year or 2 anyway. Uncle now spoke with the air of a big boss. We have money now, but don't invest recklessly. Let's buy a house first, to give Yinyan a proper home. Sometimes they talked about buying a house. Auntie Kui wanted to buy. Uncle pondered. If we buy, let's get a big flat, do it right in one go. And in the city center, with good schools. Doesn't matter if it's expensive. We can easily afford the down payment. Often, I'd fall asleep listening to them talk. In my drowsiness, I'd hear them giggling. Coming? Let's make a baby, so Yinyan can be a big sister. You old rogue. When the autumn wind rose, Auntie Kui became pregnant. When the test results came, she and Uncle hugged and cried. I thought they would love their child very much. I stood by watching and smiling. Auntie Kui held me tight, tears streaming. Yinyan, whether it's a little brother or sister, Auntie will treat you as my own. Yinyan, your aunt and I have wanted a child for over 10 years. Don't worry, you are my own. Everything in this family, you'll have half. Uncle spoke solemnly, as if afraid I'd be sad. I wasn't sad. I was happy. As long as I get to eat KFC chicken wings, it's fine. I giggled. Uncle and Auntie looked at each other and hugged me tightly. After Auntie Kui became pregnant, Uncle forced himself to focus more on family. And he started thinking about arrangements for me. I know someone from the police department and asked about some things. Uncle paced in the living room. Auntie Kui asked what he meant. Uncle looked at me. We need to transfer Yinyan's household registration over. From now on, she'd be my daughter, taking your family name. Auntie Kui was delighted. Can that be done? Is it difficult? As long as your brother agrees, it shouldn't be hard. Let's go find my brother. Uncle and Auntie Kui took me with them again. On the way, Auntie Kui called to ask where my father was, the first call she'd made to him in months. After hanging up, Auntie Kui sighed. Seems my brother's lost a lot. He actually moved back to the old flat. The new big flat he bought is up for sale again. That bad? Come to think of it, when they moved to the new place, they didn't invite us for a meal. We still don't even know where their new home is. Uncle was indignant. No need to know now. Let's go to the old place. Good thing the old flat hasn't been sold yet, or they'd have nowhere to live. We went to the old flat. Looking at the familiar building and stairwell, my palms began to sweat. After all this time, I was still afraid of this place. More precisely, afraid of the people here. Uncle parked the Mercedes and came over to take my hand. He and Auntie Kui each held one of my hands. We were about to go upstairs when my father came down. He was wearing casual clothes and slippers. His complexion gloomy, his body noticeably thinner. When they met, my father's first glance locked onto the Mercedes parked by the roadside. June, your new car? My father shook Uncle's hand. Uncle nodded. Yes, bought last month. Traded in the BMW from before. Doing well, doing well. My father's smile was strained. He shook Auntie Kui's hand. Ah, Kui, long time no see. You've become prettier. I haven't. Yin Yan's the one who's become pretty. Look at her. Auntie Kui lovingly picked me up. I had grown quite a bit taller, much fairer. My clothes were prettier, and my hair was neater. My father was taken aback, studying me for a while before recognizing me. It really is Yin Yan. You've blossomed. Come, let Daddy hold you. My father reached out both hands. I instinctively shrank back. He awkwardly scratched his head and invited us upstairs. Entering the flat, a strange odor hit us. The place was a mess. The tables and counters weren't cleaned. Some takeout containers were randomly left around. Your sister-in-law is putting Kiao to sleep. Let's sit in the living room. My father gestured for us to sit and poured tea. I scanned this familiar home, but couldn't find a trace of familiar warmth. The only familiar thing was the door to my brother's study, which remained tightly shut. Suddenly it opened. My brother emerged, hair a messy bird's nest, scratching his sagging belly, eyes bleary. He had gained at least 30 pounds. Looking utterly listless, with sleep still crusted in the corners of his eyes. From behind the door came the sound of video games. Finally decided to come out? All you do is play games day and night. Don't even sleep. You're useless. My father cursed at the sight of my brother. My brother scoffed, yawning as he went to pour water, then noticed us. He showed no reaction upon seeing Uncle and Auntie Kui, but when he saw me, he froze. I sat quietly, with twin ponytails and a white dress, looking very well behaved. My brother stared at me for a long time without saying a word. Auntie Kui stood up. Chuan Feng, this is Yin Yan. Don't you recognize her? Yin Yan, my brother muttered, his eyes shifting away, then back to me. He just looked at me, a complex smile forming on his face. Little sister's back. So pretty now. I held Auntie Kui's hand, head lowered. My brother gave a dry laugh, didn't pour water, and quickly retreated to his study as if escaping something. Uncle got down to business. He and Auntie Kui wanted to formally adopt me. As long as my father agreed, they could make it happen. Before my father could speak, my mother suddenly rushed out. You want to transfer Yin Yan's household registration? No way. Yin Yan is our precious daughter. Absolutely not. My mother was firm and domineering. She had also lost weight but remained fierce. Her eyes filled with greed. She wanted to use me to make some money. Uncle was furious. Your precious daughter. Now she's your precious daughter. What's wrong with that? Jiang Jun, don't think just because you have a bit of stinky money or something. Just a few delivery stations. At most you make $1 million. Once our company gets through this rough patch, we'll make tens of millions easily. My mother remained haughty. She had always looked down on Uncle and Auntie Kui, even now. Uncle was so angry he stood up. Auntie Kui hurriedly smoothed things over. Everyone, stop arguing. Let me talk. She looked at my mother. Sister-in-law, I know you're having difficulties now. How about this? I'll give you 100,000, and you let Yin Yan's registration be transferred. My mother's eyes lit up. She exchanged a glance with my father. My father immediately played along, speaking coldly. No. Yin Yan is our biological daughter. We won't sell our daughter. My father's attitude changed instantly, just like my mother's. Damn it, you people really have no shame at all. Abandoned Yin Yan for so long, and now she's your biological daughter. Uncle cursed loudly. Jiang Jun dare curse again? I'm telling you, you're just a stinking delivererman. You have no right to curse me. My mother kicked over the teacup. I shrank back, covering my ears. Tears flowed again. Not from fear, just from feeling awful. After half an hour of arguing, Auntie Kiwi compromised first. She directly asked, "How much do you want?" My mother pretended to hesitate, shaking her head. My father held up 5 fingers. 500,000. Yin is yours. You shameless bastards. Uncle's neck flushed red with anger. Auntie Kiwi held me tightly. Fine. Tears streamed down my face as my parents' faces grew blurrier in my vision. 500,000. Yin is no longer yours. I had a new household registration. Although going to school and studying didn't really change, I felt as if I had been reborn. Auntie Kiwi learned to drive. She bought a Mini and drove me to school every day. When I got out of the car, she would adjust my hair, straighten my collar, and tell me how pretty I was. I understood what pretty meant now, because little boys often wrote me love letters. We were just primary school students. How shameless. During winter break, I turned 8. Auntie Kiwi took me out for steak. Uncle was late. We both glared at him. He begged for mercy, then excitedly showed us photos on his phone. Honey, Yin, look at this flat. I've been looking for months and finally found this one. Not easy. Uncle had talked about buying a house for a while, but only settled on one now. It's lovely. Even though it's secondhand, it's very new and the renovation is nice. Auntie Kiwi's eyes sparkled. I liked it too, because I saw a very pretty nursery room inside, with a hanging basket. When the little brother or sister is born, they can sleep here. I pointed at the nursery, then looked at Auntie Kiwi's belly. Her belly was already somewhat rounded. Then this is the one. We'll buy it tomorrow. Uncle, flush with money and confidence, decided with a wave of his hand. The next day we bought it. I had a new home. With a new home came a housewarming celebration. Auntie Kiwi wanted to host it at home to save money. Uncle glared. Host at home? Who's going to clean up? Let's just go to a hotel. I insist on having it at a hotel. Auntie Kiwi rolled her eyes at him, knowing he wanted to show off, and let him have his way. After the invitations went out, relatives responded enthusiastically, promising to attend. The night before, I bought new clothes. Auntie Kiwi bought them for me. She made me try on many outfits, matching piece by piece until I was exhausted. Yin looks good and everything. Let's go with this set. Auntie Kiwi was also tired from choosing, amused and exasperated. She was being greedy, thinking the next set might be even better. Looking at myself in the mirror, I thought this pink fluffy coat was especially cool, my black shoes were especially cool, and my ponytail was especially cool. Yes, I looked really cool now. The housewarming banquet began. Uncle was in high spirits, beaming with pride. He welcomed every relative and friend at the door, each offering congratulations and flattery. Auntie Kiwi wore an expensive coat that hid her pregnant belly, greeting guests with a smile. I followed her, saying hello to everyone. Yin is so beautiful, she's been raised so well. Look at her now, just a few years later. A daughter truly blossoms with good care. When Kiwi, you're so blessed. What a wonderful daughter. Everyone was praising me, which made me pause slightly. I remembered, back then, they had all praised Kiao Kiao. Kiao Kiao, my younger sister, was the prettiest. I smiled and thanked them. After greeting the guests, Auntie Kiwi took me to the entrance to find Uncle. Husband, is anyone else missing? Auntie Kiwi asked. Everyone's here except your brother. Uncle pursed his lips. Auntie Kiwi fell silent, lost in thought. Just then, my parents arrived, my brother too. My brother had lost weight, cut his hair short, wore glasses and was dressed appropriately now. He had changed a lot. My parents also seemed more energetic, less disheartened than before. Perhaps the 500,000 had helped them greatly. Kiao Kiao was carried on my mother's back. She peeked out, her dark eyes watching us. Our eyes met. She looked at me curiously, making indistinct sounds. 2 years old now, able to say a few words. I thought she was still as pretty, fair and rosy. But I was pretty too, and fair. Brother, you came. Auntie Kiwi stepped forward to greet them, not overly enthusiastic but maintaining basic courtesy. My father smiled. We're here. My mother's eyes fixed on me, her throat moving. That's Yin? Yes, don't recognize her. Uncle's tone was full of sarcasm. My mother pressed her lips together, snorted, then picked up Kiao Kiao to kiss her. Recognize her, of course. My daughter, my good girl. She kissed Kiao Kiao emphatically. My father cleared his throat, pulling my brother forward, a hint of pride on his face. I brought Chuan Feng too. He's doing very well now, writing for the television station, a proper position. Yes. Chuan Feng has a secure job now. No worries anymore. A secure job is best. No matter how many millions you make outside, it's always uncertain. With a secure job, you're set for life. My mother gloated. She was mocking Uncle. Uncle snorted coldly. The atmosphere turned delicate. My brother seemed detached from it all. He only looked at me. Finally, he said something vague. Seems Yin-Yan is the lucky star after all. Without her, our family fell apart. What? What nonsense are you spouting? My mother flared up, as if struck in a sore spot. My father was angry too. My brother's words had shamed him. My brother said nothing more, standing in silence. The banquet continued. Uncle and Auntie Kui no longer paid attention to my parents' family, turning to entertain other guests instead. The atmosphere was harmonious, filled with joy everywhere. After a few rounds of drinks, a relative suggested visiting our new home, or else the trip would be wasted. Uncle readily agreed. Everyone, eat and drink your fill, then come to my place. The more the merrier for a housewarming. After the banquet ended, many relatives headed to our home. My parents and brother followed too. Jiang Jun must have made a lot from those delivery stations to buy a new house. Probably mortgaged, right? I'll go have a look. My mother deliberately said such things. No one responded to her. She pulled aside a woman and chattered. We sold that big flat of ours. Have quite a bit of money now. We don't want to start a business anymore. Just going to buy a new place to retire in. If you're not starting a business, why sell the big flat? That place was so nice. The relatives were puzzled. My mother became awkward, mumbling about needing to pay debts, saying they buy a smaller new place, didn't need much for retirement. Again, no one responded. Finally, we arrived at the destination. Our group entered the residential complex. My mother exclaimed in surprise. Isn't this Rose Garden? Our old big flat was here. Yeah, what a coincidence, right? The relatives clicked their tongues in amazement. Back when my mother bought the big flat, she had invited all the relatives except Uncle and Auntie Kui. Uncle and Auntie Kui were also surprised. Such a coincidence. Yet an even bigger coincidence emerged. Our new home was the very flat my parents had sold. The transaction was handled through a real estate agent, so neither party had met face to face. All the relatives were dumbfounded. My mother's face flushed red. Standing at the door, she cursed. Jiang Jun, Ju Wenqiu, you shameless bastards. Doing this on purpose to disgust us, right? Sons of bitches, may you die without descendants. My mother's curses were extremely vile. My father's face darkened too. Uncle flew into a rage, kicking my mother down. Curse again and see. Auntie Kui hurriedly stopped him, explaining loudly. We didn't know this was the flat you sold. You never invited us to your housewarming back then. Shut up, you bitch. Got money and think you're high and mighty now? I'll burn your house down. Bullying me. Bullying me. My mother seemed to have lost her mind, screaming and cursing. The relatives had to restrain her, but she truly went mad, biting anyone who tried to hold her back. Suddenly, my brother stepped in and pinned my mother down. My mother froze, panting on the ground. Auntie Kui never bullied us. The job I have at the television station, she pulled strings to get it for me. Did you really think the station would hire someone who took photos up girls' skirts otherwise? My brother spoke somberly. My mother froze even more. My father also stared blankly at Auntie Kui. Auntie Kui's eyes reddened. She shook her head bitterly. Chuan Feng, as long as you've changed, that's what matters. You must change. My brother said nothing, his eyes bloodshot. Both my parents fell silent. After a while, my mother suddenly screamed. Where's Kiao Kiao? Everyone panicked. Kiao Kiao was missing. I raised my hand, holding Kiao Kiao. She's here. Amid the earlier chaos, Kiao Kiao had been frightened and started crying. I had pulled her into the house. Ju Yinyan, you plague! Don't touch Kiao Kiao! My mother rushed over, grabbing Kiao Kiao into her arms. Her shoulder knocked me over in the process. Dizzy, I couldn't get up. Auntie Kui picked me up in panic. Uncle was about to go deal with my mother again. I shook my head and cleared my mind. I looked straight at my mother, at her angry face. It was a face I feared intensely. 2 years had passed, yet it still haunted me like a nightmare. You dead monkey, dark and ugly. Get lost. Look at yourself. How did I give birth to something like you? Plague, jinx. It's all your fault our family is so poor. Every word, every sentence had crashed through my young heart, never ceasing. 2 years old, 4 years old, 6 years old, 8 years old. How long would it take for it to stop? So I said, Mum, I figured something out. My mother paused, frowning as she stared at me. All the relatives fell silent, looking at me in surprise. At me, this young child. I said, Mum, I'm not a jinx. I'm a lucky star. My mother scoffed. What nonsense are you saying? Did your aunt teach you that? Huh, laughable. I figured it out myself. I stood up from Auntie Kui's embrace. I walked up to my mother. My small frame was taller than hers as she crouched. Mum, it was my wish for you and Dad to have more and more money. It was my wish for my brother to get into Peking University. That was the day my sister was born. I looked at my brother. My brother looked back at me, his chest heaving, lips trembling slightly. Brother, the bun you gave me wasn't tasty. I stuck a toothpick in it and made a wish. Mum, Dad, and you all got what you wished for. I said the words I'd been thinking about for a long time. My voice was childlike, but the emotions I'd suppressed were heavy. I am a lucky star, not a jinx. My brother shed tears. I know. I found your diary in the storeroom. You wrote it all down. I'm sorry, Yin Yan. After saying this, he turned and left without looking back. The relatives exchanged glances. My parents' faces shifted through various expressions. Uncle came over, patted my head, and picked me up. Yin Yan really is a lucky star. You know, the day we took her in, we won 50,000. Later, when we needed money to take over the delivery station, Yin Yan helped us win 100,000. Every day she wishes for me to have lots and lots of money. So we've become more and more successful. Oh, and with Yin Yan's luck, my wife is pregnant. Uncle spoke proudly and excitedly. Everyone looked at Auntie Kui. Kui is pregnant? Why didn't you say? Yes, I am. Wanted to wait until after the birth to announce it. Auntie Kui opened her coat, revealing her belly clearly pregnant. We're both very grateful to Yin Yan. Without her, we'd still be doing odd jobs in a rented room. Auntie Kui wiped the corner of her eye emotionally, smiling. So, to repay Yin Yan, this flat is registered under her name. We bought this house for her. Auntie Kui's words stunned everyone. Even I didn't know about this. The relatives buzzed with surprise, then sighed with emotion. My mother refused to believe it. You bought a house for her? For this plague? For her, not for you. Yin Yan is my own daughter. Not only am I giving her this flat, but she also get half of all our future assets. We rough folks only know how to talk about money. Whatever millions or tens of millions we make in the future, Yin Yan gets half. Uncle spoke with authority and determination. He said this in front of all the relatives, wanting everyone to witness his promise. All the relatives grew excited, exclaiming, Jun is a real man. Well done. My parents' faces turned pale, their expressions defeated, silent for a long time. Everyone watched them, as if waiting to see what else they might do. My father, utterly humiliated, couldn't stay any longer. He glanced at me quickly, then pulled my mother to leave. My mother held the bewildered Kiao Kiao. The weariness in her eyes had long replaced the madness. She was looking at me. I shrank into Uncle's embrace until my mother and father slunk away in disgrace. That day's events caused quite a stir, creating a stir among the relatives. I suddenly became everyone's envy, the lucky star. I even received dozens of red envelopes, all from relatives making up for past years. They said they had forgotten to give me red envelopes before, so they were making up for it now. Such opportunists, now they remember to give red envelopes. Uncle counted the envelopes, planning to give them to me as pocket money. Auntie Kui seemed somewhat dispirited. She was sad, because after today, she and my parents were completely estranged. They would never have anything to do with each other again. Perhaps precisely because of that estrangement, our family never encountered anything unlucky again. Every day was better than the last. The following summer, my little sister was born. This was Uncle and Auntie Kui's first child, named Zhang Lier. She looked just like I did as a baby, dark and thin, with small squinty eyes, sleeping all day. I felt sorry for her. Though only 9, I wanted to be a responsible big sister. Uncle and Auntie Kui felt sorry for me instead, saying why was I spending so much effort on my sister when there was a nanny at home? She's so small. I worry about her. That was my reply. When I was small, no one worried about me. Now that my sister is small, I will worry about her. Uncle and Auntie Kui looked at each other, then hugged me tightly. When my little sister turned 3, she wasn't as dark anymore. Her eyes grew bigger, and she became prettier. I, meanwhile, started middle school at 12. And by the end of that year, I truly began to develop. 165 centimeters tall, fair skin, waterfall-like black hair, and dressed like a well-off family's daughter, I was the very picture of a little princess. Auntie Kui couldn't help praising me every time. How does that poem go? Through the ages, no beauty is absolute. What delights the eye is a true beauty. I laughed so hard. Auntie Kui had only finished primary school, but she loved reading. In recent years she had been studying literature, often speaking in a refined, humorous way. I learned a line too. People say having children, boys or girls, is good. They don't know children age their parents. This line means everyone says having children is good, but they don't realize children make parents grow old. Auntie Kui understood the meaning too. She hugged me and stroked my head. Silly child. On my birthday that year, Uncle opened a bank account just for me. Yin Yan, you're a young adult now. We're starting to save money for you, 30,000 every month until you graduate from university. You can use this money however you like. Uncle was still as magnanimous as ever. He now owned 7 delivery stations, had invested in 2 restaurants, and opened a luxury spa, earning 5 to 6 million a year. I accepted the card. A young adult indeed. Also that year, I heard news of my parents for the first time in a long while. A distant relative told Auntie Kui. My brother and sister-in-law had another boy, because Chuan Feng ran away from home years ago and never came back. No news at all. They got anxious and decided to have another boy. Now Kiao Kiao is a big sister. Auntie Kui sighed. Uncle pursed his lips. So poor and still having more kids. Just have to have a son to inherit the family's worthless property, huh? They sold that worthless property long ago. Now they're renting in the old city district, the same area we used to live in. Auntie Kui sighed again. Amazing. Uncle gave a thumbs up. I listened silently. In my 3rd year of middle school, the school organized a visit to a retirement home for the elderly. The retirement home was right next to the old city district. Standing at its entrance, you could see large stretches of old houses. Our group of classmates, dressed colorfully, attracted the attention of a few disheveled children, watching from a nearby alleyway. One girl, about 7 or 8, wore obviously ill-fitting clothes and carried a child around 2 years old on her back, gazing curiously in our direction. I looked at her large eyes and small lips, feeling a sense of familiarity. Her face should have been fair and rosy, but it was too dry, slightly chapped, making her cheeks ruddy and not very pretty. The boy on her back, however, was delicate and cute, fair, chubby face, clean clothes, clearly well cared for. I ran over. The girl shrank back timidly. I asked her, "What's your name?" "My name is Ju Kiao Kiao." The girl replied, her voice hoarse. Ju Kiao Kiao. My heart tightened. Kiao Kiao. My once most beautiful sister. She should be 8 now. Her brother was 2. That they seemed like children from different families. Kiao Kiao had become so ugly. Her brother was so pretty. I opened my mouth, 1,000 words stuck in my throat. I understood. Kiao Kiao was no longer the lucky star. She had become me, the ugly, thin jinx. Her brother was the new lucky star. I took out 200 yuan in pocket money from my backpack and handed it to Cao Kiao. Kiao Kiao was startled and pleased but didn't dare take it. Your lips are dry. Buy some water. I pressed it into her hand. She finally accepted, bowed slightly to me, and ran quickly into the alley. After returning home, I felt gloomy, still thinking about Kiao Kiao. Auntie Kui noticed something was wrong immediately and asked what was the matter. I hesitated. Uncle happened to bring my little sister Lele home and also asked what was wrong. Lele stretched out her arms and ran over to throw herself into my embrace. Sister. Today a boy at kindergarten said he likes me. Of course boys like Lele. You're so pretty. I pinched Lele's cheek. It felt as if I were already an adult. After dinner, I finally told Uncle and Auntie about Kiao Kiao. Both sighed heavily. Auntie Kui, kind-hearted as always, suggested, "Why don't we adopt Kiao Kiao too? It's not like we lack the money." Uncle asked for my opinion. I nodded immediately. Uncle asked Lele for her opinion. Lele, innocent and unaware, said, "Another big sister?" Yay! The next day, Uncle and Auntie went to find my parents. They returned in the afternoon. Behind them followed a timid, pitiful little figure. It was Kiao. Kiao Kiao was at a loss, nervous. Her little face flushed, head constantly bowed. So much like me back then. I ran over and hugged her. For some reason, tears fell. Her parents demanded 880,000. Not a yuan less, Uncle stated. Auntie Kui hit him lightly, then pulled me aside and whispered, "The money isn't important. We actually wanted to adopt Xiaojun too. But her parents absolutely refused. They just want a son for support in old age." Poor Xiaojun. Yes, Xiaojun was pitiful too. He became the family's last lucky star. After Kiao Kiao joined our big family, she was at a loss for a long time. She matured earlier than I did, more sensible, understanding her position, so she did everything cautiously. She still believed she was a jinx, once crying and saying that because of her, our parents went bankrupt. She was afraid Uncle and Auntie would go bankrupt too. Auntie Kui's heart ached so much she cried. Uncle waved his hand. "What jinx? Both you and Yinyan are lucky stars." Uncle's words quickly came true. His latest investment yielded rich returns of full 8 million. Good lucky stars. When Yinyan came, I started from nothing. Now that Kiao Kiao has come, I've climbed even higher. Uncle deliberately spoke loudly, for Kiao Kiao to hear. Kiao Kiao pretended not to care, flipping through a book, but actually pricked up her ears to listen to our family's conversation. I saw her finally smile. I smiled too. We sisters grew closer. Later, we slept together every night, talking about interesting things at school, about which boys were handsome, about which girls had nice hair. Kiao Kiao never cried again. Until my final year of high school, when my father went to prison for injuring someone while drunk. According to Auntie Kui, after my parents took the 880,000 from our family, they started living lavishly. They didn't save it, spending recklessly every day, picking up all sorts of bad habits. Now the money was long gone, their spirit broken. My father was in prison. My mother muddled through each day doing odd jobs to survive. As for my younger brother Xiaojun, he had long been taken by my maternal grandmother in the countryside. Perhaps he would live an ordinary, hard life there. Kiao Kiao cried for a long time but said nothing. I held her, also saying nothing. When Kiao Kiao started middle school, I was admitted to Peking University. It was a glorious achievement, just like my brothers back then. Of course, a celebration banquet was held, a grand one. Auntie Kui even invited my mother, but she didn't come. Auntie Kui couldn't even find out where she was. However, we did get news of my brother. Somehow he heard I got into Peking University. He specifically contacted Auntie Kui and sent a gift. "Your brother isn't doing well now. He works part-time jobs while writing articles on the side. He calls himself a rat in the sewers. Never seeing the light of day. And shouldn't see it." Auntie Kui sighed as she handed me my brother's gift. I opened it. It was my childhood diary and a red envelope containing a stack of money. On the red envelope, my brother had written, "I wanted to give you a birthday cake, but I'm far away and can't send one. Buy it yourself. 18 years of birthday cake money is all here." I touched the crumpled stack of money, remembering that day when I was 6, when only my brother remembered my birthday, tossing me an unappetizing bun. Time passed so quickly. After the celebration banquet, Uncle took me to buy a new laptop to take to university. I got into his Maybach. He joked, "Miss Yin, I'll be your chauffeur. You don't mind, do you?" "I don't mind. I'll still wish Uncle lots and lots of money." I clasped my hands together. "Amen." Uncle laughed heartily and drove me to buy the laptop. Halfway there, he suddenly slammed on the brakes, but still bumped into a woman who darted out in front. The woman let out an exaggerated scream, threw herself onto the hood, and yelled, "It hurts. He hit me. He hit me. Damn, a scammer." Uncle was exasperated, getting out of the car. Curious, I got out too. "Help, he hit me. My back is broken." The woman wailed, pounding the hood. Uncle grabbed her and pulled her up. "You dare scam me? Looking for trouble? Look! He's threatening me. He's hitting." The woman raised her head and shouted, but her voice cut off abruptly. Uncle also froze, because it was my mother, whom I hadn't seen in 3 years. My heart tightened, then relaxed. I stood calmly, like a leaf falling under a parasol tree. My mother's messy hair blew in the wind. She looked at Uncle, then at me, her dirty throat moving. I looked away. Uncle clicked his tongue, wanting to say something, but unable to speak. He took out his wallet, pulled out several red bills, and threw them to my mother. "Enough? Now get lost." My mother grabbed them, eyes gleaming, repeatedly bowing and thanking. Okay, I'll go get treatment myself." She hurried away. I stood by the car watching her, seeing her run to hide behind a distant tree. Uncle and I got back in the car. Uncle seemed to want to say something, but finally sighed and drove in silence. As we passed the tree, I looked out the window and saw my mother leaning against it, clutching the money, crying, her face streaked with tears. The car drove on. My mother faded into the distance. After university, I pursued a master's degree, then a doctorate, always immersed in the ocean of knowledge. Of course, whenever I had time, I would visit impoverished mountainous areas. This was Qiaoqiao's initiative. Now also in university, she was always concerned about children in impoverished mountainous areas, especially girls. "Sister, let's start schools in impoverished mountainous areas in the future, especially girls' schools." Qiaoqiao was now youthful and fashionable, a true urban beauty. I asked her why she had this idea. Her expression darkened. "In those mountainous areas, many girls are seen as jinxes, as burdens, so much like us when we were little." Her words made my heart ache, as if distant memories burrowed into my mind, stirring wildly. Yes. How many jinxes? How many burdens were there in this world? I hugged her tightly and nodded emphatically. Okay. May we sisters be the last jinxes, the last burdens. May all girls in the world be eternal lucky stars, eternal koi fish,